Hey YouTube, John with Grunt Reviews here. Talking about class I took. Took me a little longer to make this video than I would have liked due to some technical glitches. But a few weeks ago, went and took a class over at Iron Gall Firearms in Kiefer, Oklahoma. It was put on by DMIG, and the instructor was Israel Matos. As you can see from the intro, it was a higher level pistol class. Class was actually a pretty good composition. We had one NRA training advisor, and then the rest of us were either Army grunts, former Army grunts, or police officers. So everybody was a higher level shooter over just your average range type person. Everybody has taken that oath to serve and has had some of the training that goes with it. So it became a little bit higher level class really quick. So when you are choosing a class, there's three major things you need to ask yourself. The first one is, who is the instructor? In this case, it was Israel Matos. He was a Marine, which we'll give him a hard time for that just for fun. But he taught at Quantico, has combat experience, and we'll actually cover some of that in the interview at the very end of the video. But pick a high-level instructor. Number two, what do you want to learn? Are you a competition shooter only, IPSC and USPSA? Are you just worried about defending yourself, a concealed carry type course? Are you, looking to improve one certain area? Are you looking to improve everything? Are you wanting to learn to use a red dot like an RMR? What are you trying to accomplish? So that's a big one you need to ask yourself. And the big thing is don't try to accomplish too much in one class. So crawl, walk, run. Get your basics, get some practice, take that next class, that next level, and move yourself on. You see it every time you go to a class. Somebody went out, bought a brand new gun, put a brand new optic on it, not used to the manual arms for that weapon, not used to that optic or the red dot in the case of a pistol, and it's a huge learning curve for what you're trying to accomplish. And then of course the third part of picking any class is, can you afford it? Instructors do come in a wide variety of experiences, ranges, and types, and they also come in a wide variety of prices as well, too. Cheaper is not always better, especially when it comes to quality firearms instruction, but on the same note, more expensive does not always equal a better instructor either, and then I loop you back to researching your instructor before taking the class. So as I was researching Izzy, came across some of his background, some of his exploits, shall we say, overseas. He was injured in action, and we'll cover that at the interview at the end that I did with him. But fantastic guy and fantastic instructor as well too. We'll cut to a little clip of us towards the end of the class here.
Decision making and movement. It's taken everything we've worked on the past couple days, or the past day, and put it all together in one thing. It's very fast, very dynamic, but remember, it can always get worse. So things to take away. When you're off balance, if you catch yourself doing this, well behind the curve, because if someone does run into you at that point, let's say you are doing an active shooter situation, if you're in a school, kids are running out and you're running in. You may have to take a shot and they're running into you. If you get caught like this, what's going to happen? Little kid or not, you're going to have a bad day. So always try to make sure your footing and your position is solid before any of the shooting, okay? Always check that backstop. How many of you guys were surprised when you're like, oh man, I thought it was clear? Yeah. Have the targets moved at all? No. But the angles change. So just that angle. Oh man, I had a joke for that. I'm going to leave that one since I just realized there's a camera recording. You got to make sure that the angle's proper, okay? No matter what. And also you have to take into account deflection. What's the nickname for the 9mm? It's always been known as the magic bullet because you can shoot someone in the chest, it hits a bone or hits something, comes out in a different direction, right? Magic bullet. So if you take that into account all the time, if you go, man, I may shoot this guy in the chest, that's cool. It may come out his kidney and hit that dude to his left or right. You don't want that, right? Because that bullet's still traveling at Mach Jesus speeds, and I know I don't want to get hit by it. Do you? So when you take these high threat shots, make sure you're in a solid position, as solid as you can make it. All right.
So with the class being a little bit higher level of shooting, once we got through all of our fundamentals and running back over the drills and everything else, of course we put movement into it, and a few different scenarios. So one hand out of the fight drills, drawing and manipulating the weapon completely with your left hand, or for our wrong-handed shooters, your right hand. Good skills that you don't generally get to practice on a regular basis, and it was very, very good reminder how much I suck shooting with my weak hand. As we kind of progressed on, of course, we had the movement. We started doing low percentage shot drills, and those low percentage shot drills can be a number of different scenarios. So that could be an active shooter, that could be a crowded market overseas, that could be you in a transitional space like a convenience store, a Walmart parking lot, and a threat presents itself as part of a crowd, and it's looking at the entire scenario. So not just seeing that threat, but also seeing the area around the threat, everything that's in the backstop, and angling yourself to be able to engage the threat without any sort of spillage or collateral damage to people or property around you. For your concealed carrier, this is generally not a day-to-day type thing, but for sworn officers or folks serving overseas, whether that be military or contractors, this is definitely something that you do have to take a look at. And it is absolutely fantastic training. Really get your mind working. Each target actually had a number and a letter and some sort of feature. So we did a guy with a goatee, we had a guy with curly hair, and you had to shoot at one of those things. So you not only had to visually see the threat, identify the threat correctly, and engage it, but then somebody else would become a threat, or another target, if you will. And engage those failure to stop drills. So fantastic class, really enjoyed it. We finished up the class with, I'm gonna give them a hard time for using the Marine Corps pistol qual, but we started and finished the class with a Marine Corps pistol qualification. And everybody in the class took it the first time. Most people passed, the very minimum, I believe Marine Corps calls it sharpshooter. But the very minimum passing score, and then by the end everybody had improved vastly. Myself personally, I was back to shooting expert with a pistol like I did when I was still active duty, which was kind of nice. And as it's a huge reminder, guys, shooting is very much a perishable skill. So if we say 0 to 100, as you build your fundamentals, you can get up to, we'll say 50-60% pretty easily. And if you're shooting all the time, you can get to 60 or 70%. If you are training for competitions or something of that nature, 80, 90, 100%. As soon as you stop putting rounds down range and as soon as you stop training, you go from 100 back down from that 50 or 60 very, very quickly. So you never lose all your shooting ability, but it does start to, let's be honest, you start sucking again. So staying fresh and having another pair of eyes on you. This is another big part of the class as well too, is having somebody else to look at you just like a chess game. You're in a chess game and you think he's got you checkmated, and somebody walks by and looks down and goes, "Hey, move your rook here." Same type concept. Getting somebody else looking at different things, watching you shoot, really does make a huge improvement. I actually generally wear Oakley eye protection with polarized lenses, and he was actually able to take a picture of me through my sunglasses and point out a couple of things that I was doing wrong, basically from my line of sight, which was pretty cool while I was firing. And it was an utterly fantastic class. So we will cover it in the interview here at the end, but I do have the link for DMIG. It's at shootingclasses.com, so you can see all of his scheduling. You can also schedule him to come out to your range as well, too. If you've got a group of people that wants to do some training, if you own a range and want to bring in a very high-end instructor, or you're a police department or some sort of security outfit and you'd like to get some training for your guys, he is available for that. Hit the link down below in the description and stay safe, train hard. Here's the interview. All right, so thanks to some technical difficulties and my GoPro deciding it wanted to cease functioning, we're going to do this interview in the way of 2020 via Zoom. I have with me Mr. Israel Matos of DMIG here. He taught the class we're reviewing this weekend and just wanted to take a few minutes and interview him. How's everything in lovely Florida?
Oh, the weather's great out here.
Nice and sunny.
Yes, and not cold.
Yeah, God. So he was not used to our Oklahoma normal weather, 50 degrees. I don't know if I still have the video or the pictures, but he's in this huge puffy coat. So we had to mess with him a little bit. But no, we just kind of wanted to get with you, and kind of the big thing is what got you into teaching shooting? What made you say, hey, I'm going to put myself on a range with a bunch of other people and teach them how to sow freedom seeds?
I just kind of like teaching. So any chance I get to teach, that kind of does it for me. Yeah. I mean, I've been into it since I was in the Marine Corps. I guess the bug really hit me when I was stationed in Quantico. That was, I think that's when the bug actually hit. Watching all those new lieutenants and Marines, even on their requals, and everyone going through it, kind of having that light bulb moment. That kind of stuck for me.
Well, and a gaggle of new lieutenants in any area is always a very scary sight.
The stories.
I don't think it matters. Army, Marine Corps. I guess it would technically be an ensign, but Navy. I'm sure we've all had those stories. So you also have kind of good segue into a question here, but you obviously came from the Marine Corps, and you may have experienced a little bit of trauma, as we'll call it. Kind of tell us about that and some of the recovery and how the 2A and the shooting community has helped with some of that.
Well, when I was going through my recovery in California, I used to go to a USPSA match. And that's kind of one of the things that got me to rehabilitate myself and really learn how to walk and run again. It was just a bunch of good motivation out there. And the vibes on the range with guys like Dave Bridgman was just, it was great. Yeah.
So not only the obvious fun of the shooting, but you're talking about kind of some of the camaraderie and the sportsmanship and
it was more about the match versus the combative aspect of it. So it was a nice taking the throttle off in some ways and putting the throttle on in others,
And I mean, I've gotten into USPSA here, and you can see some of those on the channel as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a different level, it's all the same skills, but applied
differently,
slightly differently. Rally racing versus road racing. You're still driving, you're still doing everything a driver would, but you're tweaking and adjusting, and let's be honest, the rally guys get some pretty good air, so that's always fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So how long have you been running with DMIG? How long have you been teaching, and who do you teach? If somebody wanted to seek you out for a class, whether it be a group of civilians that wanted to host you, or we have a few followers that are with some departments, how does somebody set it up so you can learn them some shooting?
Well, I started doing DMIG in 2015, 2014. It was one of those. um, and yeah, I teach mostly open enrollment. So I work with some agencies from time to time. Um, yeah, because I'm a big supporter of law enforcement and military. So got to give back to the community where we can. But yeah, you could also find me on shooting classes. We started doing that. Shooting classes is a national database where you can put up all your classes and kind of look everything up that way too. We don't have all the same rigmarole as all the other social media sites. It's about shooting and learning, and that's pretty much it.
And that's shootingclasses.com.
Yep.
Perfect. I'll drop a link down below in the description for our viewers so they can get in and check it out. Kind of last one I've got is highlights from the class. What was your favorite parts? What did you enjoy?
Mantis, full Mantis and the crab walk kind of did it for me. That was a very memorable moment.
And it takes years of mastery and seconds of preparation to really get you into a mantis turtle crab transition.
Well, it was something. It was a sight to behold. I'm thoroughly impressed.
We here in Oklahoma, we try our best. So I mean
the class I thought went really, really well. It's nice because as you saw when we went through the class, kind of taking the training, like ramping it up, giving you all the explanations and the why, and then kind of taking the training wheels off as we go along and moving into some pretty intensive drills rather quickly. So I think it was a really great class, and yeah, you guys were really funny too, so it was really good.
We try. So yeah, I mean, from my side of it, it was I can't say I've ever shot while somebody was pulling on me, so that was a new experience, while trying to pick a poorly drawn beard out of a crowd off of a target.
Yeah. Hey, you said push a bunch of skills, so hey, you got to push a bunch of skills.
No, it was good. I did not think drawing would be one of them, but it's good to have a wide variety of tools in the toolbox at any point in time. So, brother, I appreciate it. So, I mean, like I said, we want to just interview with you. So, being a veteran-run channel, Army, of course, the better of the two branches. Anytime we can interview another veteran. And do activities with other veterans and support that veteran community. And of course, the 2A community as a whole, which is a pretty large portion veteran as well too. So we take the time to do that. So
absolutely,
we appreciate you having it on. You have anything else for our viewers?
If you wanna find me, you can look me up on shootingclasses.com/DMIG, and probably posting up some classes in the future. And if you are not in Florida or Oklahoma and you want to get with me, just drop me a message. We'll see if we can't figure out something out.
Well, sounds good. So I'll drop that link down below, and we'll make it happen. Brother, I appreciate your time.
All right, brother. You stay safe.
You too.
Before we leave, I got to say it, guys. Please click like. Please click subscribe. Hit that notification bell. It helps us help you. And since it is Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.